Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Tilka Asharatun Kamila, 10 days complete. Subhanallah, in these short segments, we give you some of the highlights in terms of what either the Hujjaj would be doing on this particular day or what would be happening behind the scenes in preparation for Hajj. Some 3 days to go. The last of the Hujjaj having arrived in Makkatul Mukarramah and having completed the Umrah. This means that it's time for the authorities to figuratively sharpen the pencils and start chalking out which Hujjaj would be allocated to which of the camps on Mina. So, in no negative sense, but I think this word encapsulates it best. The idea of there being horse trading between each of the different regions of the world, and then within those regions, the sub-regions of the world, and then eventually coming down to each nationality. Which Haji is going to be housed where? Based on the allocation of space, based on the final counts and tallies that have been locked in, etc. These deliberations go into the hours from the normally commencing in the evening, all the way through the wee hours of the morning, and sometimes, subhanAllah, extending way into the day and beyond. So it could be that those tallies and those arrangements and final counts and allocations are completed on this day, or it could be that there's still lots of deliberations taking place and they will continue for another day further. That's one aspect of the preparation behind the scenes. What is some of the other things that are happening? Well, subhanAllah, with only 2 to 3 days remaining before Hajj, it also means that much of the road infrastructure and road networks around the places of Hajj, Mina, Muzdalifah and Arafah, now need to be prepared with the final preparations for Hajj. Some roads, there are 4 lanes in either direction and serve as motorways, freeways, highways, suddenly become closed off. All of that traffic needs to be diverted to other routes, and this will remain in place arguably for at least 10 days. The days of Hajj and a few days thereafter in terms of when all of the infrastructure for Hajj or removable infrastructure for Hajj is packed away, dismantled, packed away and stored. So subhanAllah, let's unpack this idea of the change of the road networks. That means for a few hours with 3 days to Hajj commencing, there will be some level of chaos, some level of frustration, because even though the citizens of Makkatul Mukarramah who are used to this happening and occurring annually would now have to readjust to, it's Hajj time. Let me just accept the status quo and move on with whatever I'm doing and in whichever area or route I am being channeled towards. This provides opportunity, subhanAllah, opportunity for the Hujjaj, those anxious souls who will be donning ihram on Thursday morning. They have the opportunity of, in an orderly fashion, being able to explore their camps. Remember, the first point we mentioned was the allocation of the camps. So even though their guides would take them on these walking tours to their camps in Mina, and maybe even extend that walking tour to the Jamarat to give them a first-hand view at eye level of what the Jamarat is, maybe a quick lesson in terms of how stoning will take place, etc. The final allocations for the camps are most probably not done yet. What are the benefits of Hujjaj visiting Mina before the actual days of Hajj? Number one, it allows them to manage their own expectations. It allows them to also be shown and be able to identify some of the important landmarks in this tent city that sprawls kilometers, where almost every road, every avenue looks exactly the same. So the skilled guides would take them through the streets and acquaint them with different markers, from zone markers to road numbering, to camp numbering, to emergency station numbering, to mobile clinic and hospital numbering, etc., etc. So that even somebody who's undertaking Hajj for the first time would get a basic lay of the land. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this fruitful for each and every one of our Hujjaj from the 1 million who Allah has specially selected this year, that this journey, this trial walk, this excursion normally undertaken on this day or maybe even tomorrow be fruitful to them, and may inshallah they always be together as a tight-knit unit with their group throughout the days of Hajj.